Hello and welcome to the show. I'm taking today's episode from the living room, and it's a full house. Kids are home, wifey is home, so I expect to hear some interruptions in the background. In fact, some colorful interruptions because we just bought a new keyboard and my son is learning how to play chords and scales. I mean, the older one at least. The little one is still running around. He can't be interested, at least for now. Anyway, the goal of this show is free business education. You're not here to learn about my family. So this is the first time of listening to the podcast. Don't worry, you're in the right place. And if you get value from this, please share, promote, and talk about it so that your friends and family members in Nigeria and abroad can benefit from the questions that we tackle over here. They can do that by subscribing on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, or any player of their choice. And if you in particular have any sales or marketing questions, bring them to me. You can call, SMS, or WhatsApp on 080-6466-2140. Today on the show, we're going to be looking at another question. Someone who called in from my radio show on Radio Maria. Person called in on the 15th of April. And we tackled a few things about business plans, statement of intent. All those sorts of things. So that's what we're going to be tackling today. What is a business plan? What is a statement of intent? When do you need one? When do you need the other? Which one is better? What's the benefit of these things? Apart from raising finance, does a statement of intent or does a business plan help you in any other way? Oh, by the way, just in case, like I said, the noise bleeds in. That's my son hammering away on the keyboard. So I hope you guys find it melodious, if nothing else. Okay, so like I said, on the radio show, that was on the 15th of April, a chap called in, Engineer Peter Celestin, and the question was on how to use his business plan to raise finance for his construction company, which he started in 2025. So as of the date of this recording, it's still, a young thing because I'm recording this in May of 2025. Well, yes, I have. So this was a caller that called in last month. So, when most people call me over the air, we start talking about a few things. Sometimes I need a little bit more detail. So I've gotten into the habit of telling people to just send me a WhatsApp message so we can talk in more detail. And so like in Engineer Peter's case, so I can have a look at the business plan because I want to make sure that whenever I'm giving advice to anyone, whether those of you who reach out to me through the podcast or who reach out to me from the radio show, I want to make sure that the advice I'm giving is relevant, is practical, and it's targeted to your particular context. Because, in my own opinion, it's a waste of time to be answering questions in a general. Because, as in, who is it going to help? So it's best when we can sit down and say, look, based on what you've said, based on where you're coming from, based on where you're heading to, do it like this, not like this, we're going to run and stuff like that. So, let's see. Okay, so he said I had a business plan. I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Send me the business plan. Let me have a look. Now, the thing that he sent, even though he thinks it's a business plan, actually is what some people would call a statement of intent. Because the statement of intent is when you put some things down in writing that shows your aspirations. Like, this is me, this is where I'm heading, this is what I want to build. Some paragraphs like that, short, one page. So that is not what we typically would consider to be a business plan. That is just a statement of intent. So based on his, as you'll find later on, because I'm also going to talk about the kind of things that should be included in a business plan, you'll see that a business plan is more detailed. A business plan goes beyond just saying, this is me, this is where I'm from, this is what I want to build, So anyway, so let me go into what he had in his statement of intent. So for his statement of intent, he has here that he wants to supply reliable construction solutions. Let's see what else. Okay, he wants to focus on road building and bridges. Then he also mentioned that he has ambitions in oil and gas. And then, let's see. Okay, they also want to leverage new technologies in making concrete for road paving. And that was one thing that I asterisked because, I don't have a technical side when it comes to these things. I'm not an architect, I'm not an engineer. So, I know nothing about this. But I just always assume that when people make roads, we make roads with tar for a reason, especially since we make roads with tar all over the world. So I just put an asterisk there, like it's something he needs to do his homework on. If making roads out of concrete is a viable option, I'm surprised that people aren't doing it. But anyway, you never know. Sometimes these are, what are they called? Innovations and things that you can use to make yourself stand out. You're doing new methods, new ways, new technologies that other people are not doing. But I just put an asterisk on that. So that's something that we ought to look at. So that's what he just said in statement of intent. Now you can see that just writing out these sorts of things, this is me, this is my company. I want to supply construction solutions. I want to build roads and bridge. I have ambitions in oil and gas, and I want to leverage concrete for road paving. You give that kind of thing to an investor or to a bank, it's hard for the investor to say, "Oh, yeah, no problem. Come and take, 5 billion." Yeah, there's not enough there to for an investor to go on, or for a bank to go on, or even for your rich uncle who wants to give you money. There's not enough meat there for your rich uncle, for a rich auntie to say, okay, based on what I'm seeing, well, come and take like 5 billion, go and start your construction company. So you should have a business plan. And what should be included in the business plan? Well, most people put an executive summary. The summary just says, welcome to the document. If you read this document, this is everything that you can hope to find here. And then it will summarize everything that is in the document. Then there is also sometimes a section about company description, who you are, when was the company founded, who is the executive director, who is the this, who is the that, what does the company do, all those sorts of things. Then there usually is some sort of segment that does market analysis. The market analysis is the part of the business plan. Yeah, so the market analysis is the part of the business plan that answers the question, can we make money on this thing? Who is the target market and is there demand? So like now, back to this construction thing, market analysis is going to be the part of the document where you're now going to answer, can you make money by using concrete to pave roads? Is it going to be cheaper or is it going to be much more efficient? Who is the target market? Are municipals, local governments in Nigeria willing to try that as an alternative to using tar? Maybe communities in the east where they have serious erosion, maybe concrete might be the solution. Then of course, looking at the whole thing of market demand, have countries been trying this? Have countries been trying this kind of technology? All those kind of questions basically. Because in the market analysis segment, the bank who you're asking for money, your rich uncle and auntie who you're asking for money, the investor who you're asking for money, they just want to see, is there some meat here? Is there something we can kill? And by the time we share it, there's money for all of us. So that's just what the market analysis section is. Then a section on products and services. That's where you talk about exactly what you're selling. And of course, I mentioned to my guy, Engineer Peter, that, it's kind of, you understand, it's kind of plenty. Construction supplies, building roads and bridges, so that one makes sense. But then now, ambitions in oil and gas, that's a bit, stretching. Then, anyway, maybe because I'm a layman, so maybe I don't understand. But that whole leveraging concrete for road paving, to be honest, I'm not so sure. But so products and services, it would be nice to have a concise statement of what it is that you do. It helps when people look at your business plan and they can see clearly that this is what you do. That, oh, okay, this my niece, she wants to do fashion design, full stop. But if you put it there and your uncle is reading and your uncle says, okay, my niece wants to do fashion design, but then she also wants to trade forex, but then she also wants to do crypto, and but then she also wants to do lifestyle influencing business, but then she also wants to, it's a bit much. After a while, your uncle or your auntie will just think, this baby's not serious, let me just keep her money. So if you can clearly define the products and the service, the better. Then my favorite part of the business plan is where you go into marketing and sales strategy. Very, very important. That is how you say, okay, those people that we identified in the market analysis, the people that we're going to run after, this is the plan for going after them. So back to this whole thing about using concrete to pave roads, let us assume, by the way, I'm not a technically minded person. I'm not an engineer, so I'm just freestyling here. So let's assume now that concrete can actually solve the erosion problems in the east instead of using Korota to build roads. Sorry, those of you who are not Nigerians, when we say Korota, we mean coal tar. It's just, in fact, I used to say that a lot in primary school. So, I mean, I was shocked later on to find out that people are actually saying coal tar. So I was like, why not just say coal tar? What is Korota? So, if truly, the way to solve the problem of erosion in the east is to stop using Korota and then to use concrete, then there should be a plan. Now, okay, the states in Nigeria most affected by erosion are Anambra, Abia, blah, blah, blah. And the plan is to go and meet, the governors or the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing and, just some plan, that this is how we're going to tackle the market. Step one, we'll approach these people. Step two, step three, whatever, but some sort of plan. It also gives people confidence. Let the bank see that, okay, you have a plan. You're not just vomiting ideas anyhow, like there's something that makes sense. Let your uncle or your auntie see that, okay, you be like, say, this boy don't get sense, or it be like, say, this baby's maturing, so there's a plan here. I can drop some money. So that's the reason why that is my favorite part of a business plan. It should be your favorite part too. And by the way, even if you don't get any money from the business plan, even if nobody drops bar for you by the time you're done, this is the best part of the business plan. So excuse me, because you can always look at it from time to time and the thing will guide your thinking. You remember that, hold on, call coming through. Okay, all right, I will return the call later. So you can now look at the segment. You can now look at that particular segment and then say, you can now look at the segment and then, where was I? I lost my train of thought. You now be able to look at the segment and then remember that, okay, back in the day when I wanted to start this business, these were the strategies that we had for sales and marketing, blah, blah, blah. You can look at that and the thing can serve as a roadmap and guide you forward, so you don't forget that these were the main things that we were going to try out, and this was going to be the thrust of sales and marketing for the business. So that's a useful part of the document. And that's one of the reasons why I say, if you want to set up a business plan, it's not a bad idea. If nothing else, it's a reference document that will help you to it's a reference document that will help you to bring you back on track. Because as you're going forward, business is hard. People forget, all kinds of things. So one moment, one of my children has come. Let me settle him and then I'll get back to you. Okay, sorry about that. Fighting over computers, as children are wont to do. Some of the wonderful things to look forward. That's for those of you who don't have kids yet. I mean, it's fun. We're waiting for you guys. So, So then, most of the people that have been sending me business plans, that's as per the radio show, they don't have a funding request in the plan. Now, the funding request is the part of the document where you tell the investor, where you tell the bank, where you tell your rich uncle or auntie that, look, this money that I'm raising from you, this is how I'm going to use it. I'll buy this, I'll invest in this. And hopefully we'll bring this kind of returns. And from these returns, this is how much I'm going to pay you back. So the example that I gave, as for those of you who've been listening for a while, if you remember the episode about Elisha from Suleja, who had a business plan to raise money for his sesame seed processing business. So he had it clear in his document that this is how much in total I need for the business. I can't remember the figures, so I'm just going to make stuff up. Even if I remember, I won't use the real figures to protect the guy's privacy. So he said, okay, this is how much I need. I need like that kind 30M. From the 30M, I've been able to drop like 6M by myself. So what I'm looking for is 24M. Now, I thought that was particularly good for Elisha, because lots of people in Nigeria, when they raise business plan, and even have the funding segment, usually you can see that they want to raise everything from the other person. You want your uncle or your auntie to drop everything 100%. You want the bank to drop everything 100%. You want the investor to drop everything 100%. Sometimes people are looking for someone. Sometimes people just like the fact that somebody has skin in the game. Like you, man, you've done something. So you need 50M for this thing. You've been able to raise 5, 6, that kind of thing. It gives somebody confidence that you're doing something. So that would also be nice. So so that was just it. So of course the problem with the statement of intent that Engineer Peter submitted is, there are plenty of gaps. So why are you raising money for the business? Why do you need financing? Is there any particular specific project that you're working on? What do you need the money for? Do you want it for office space? Do you want it for equipment? Do you want it for marketing? Do you want it to finance a government contract? Stuff like that. So basically, whatever it is that you're going to submit, it has to have answers. You need answers to these big questions in whatever document it is that you're raising for finance. But please just know that there's a difference between statement of intent and the business plan. Statement of intent, no too pure when it comes to raising finance. Business plan is what you actually should be aiming for. So that's all for today, folks. If you have any questions that are sales and marketing related, then bring them to me. You can call, you can SMS or WhatsApp on 080-6466-2140. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next episode.